So, hello and welcome to another Mackem football show or Friday Night Football, depending on where you're watching it and how you're consuming it. I'm Anf the Mackem, and today I have Jacob with me. DJ should be joining. Evening, Jacob.
Good evening.
Good evening. And we also have Brad from RWA joining us. He said he might be a couple of minutes late, so yeah, the call's open to 7 people, and at the moment it's me and Jacob. So, rather than dwell on who's not here, we'll talk about who is here. Jacob, how's your week been since our last live stream?
All right. Got some assignments back from college and passed them.
Good, well done. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Getting through it.
Got a merit in one of them.
Very good, mate. Very good. Rosie's in the chat, by the way. Good evening, Rosie. How am I? I'm very good. Thank you very much. Hope you are too. Liam K. Hello, hello, hello. So this stream also goes on podcasting. So if you want to get involved in it, just find Anf the Mackem on YouTube, and we'll talk about what's happening. Should we talk about what's happening last week, the Coventry match, and then go into what we think about our next match tomorrow against Stoke City at the Stadium of Light with Alex Niel. Good evening, Elliot. Hope we put Alex Niel back in this place. So yeah, we've got a bit of a flexible way through it. If you're watching it on video, you can see the live score lines of the games around the rest of the league. There's one happening right now, and Hull City have took the lead against West Bromwich Albion. Does that surprise you much, mate?
No.
No. Why not?
It's football, isn't it? Because you're always going to get some underdogs winning. To be fair, but I think West Brom should be winning it. But it's the Championship as well. So
I think both these teams, Hull and West Brom, have had a turbulent season. The fact that both of them are teetering on top half finishes now is an absolute miracle, and fair play to Hull on rescuing where they were at, say, before the World Cup break. Same with West Brom. West Brom were looking absolutely woeful under Steve Bruce, but since they got rid of him, they've come alive and they've climbed into the top 12. So, you know what? Not happy they've nicked our song. Rosie, which song have they nicked? That's a new one on me.
I bet it, take over everywhere we go. I bet it's something like that, in it. But instead of Sunderland, they'll say,
To be fair, the takeover one is just, it's like my God and shed. Every club has it. It's, I don't think we can say we own everywhere we go, because, I mean, we do. Yeah. Other clubs do it, but we do actually Sunderland do take over everywhere we go. The return of the baldy man. Dean, welcome. Are you bald? I'm wearing a cap. How can you tell? Also, look, hair. I'm not baldy, man.
We always take over at Wembley, don't we? So
yes, we can talk about the Mags result as well. That's funny. I forgot about that. I think we should wait for everybody else joining in on that one for a little bit of oh yeah, we'll have a bit of a group laugh around that. She says, "Can't help falling in love with you" by Elvis Presley. Okay.
Copywriting bastard.
I mean, we copied off Elvis, so copy it off. Because yeah, I'm not going to sing it because I'm going to butcher it, and your ears and your eyes don't ever need to see that. It's not the X Factor, no. All right, so I'm gonna dive into the first game, the Coventry match. I'm in the process of doing the league update video, and I've had to endure rewatching that highlight in slow motion on replay, and I am more livid now than I was on the day. And if you're watching the live stream last week, you know how pissed off I was at that game. So, Jacob, before I delve into how pissed off I'm at that match and at the initial decisions with the referee, what did you think?
I think the first half we were actually we were good in first half, and we seemed to be in their half quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point we should have got a free kick, but of course, ref being a bell end didn't give it. And then I think we're towards end at first half, they got their first goal, which should have been disallowed because it was a foul on two of our players.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, not too great. We seemed to have sat back a bit, and then we were one man short for their second goal, and then I mean we got a little goal back. But by the 80th minute, I was saying that the game was over.
Yeah.
By the 80th minute, and I shouldn't be saying that. I should really not be saying that. And it's not. But they're a good side, Coventry, but it's no excuse still.
It's no excuse. There's a couple of positives we can take from it, but also, yeah, the fact that we're more talking about how the referee dominated the game rather than the players is a huge sign that something needs to change. Holistically, logistically, however you want to put it, in the EFL, anywhere outside the Premier League, it's just the unfairness is ridiculous, and I don't know or I haven't heard of any repercussions from the referee in that match for how blatant he just screwed up. There's absolutely no way he should ever be refereeing at this level. It was that bad, and we weren't the only game this weekend that had issues with their referee. It's not unique to Sunderland. It's just we don't ever seem to get the rub of the green with the refs. The amount of the stats for this game speak for themselves. Essentially, they quadrupled the fouls that we given on them, but they only had 3 yellow cards at the end of the day. It was an absolute shambles. They were crunching people. Their studs were showing, and I can't blame their goal scorers. Allen in the 25th minute, by the way, and Gyökeres in the 89th. They played to the whistle. I can't blame them for not stopping because the referee didn't tell them to stop, even though they should have. Dale's popped in at the chat. Welcome, Dale. And he's just said, we have lost far too many. 13 out of 34 games, and the refs are really bad. We've actually not lost 13 games. But it depends. Do you count the FA Cup games and Carabao Cup games as losses? Because then, yeah, we have lost 13. But we've only lost 11 in the league, and only 11's a bit of an oxymoron. That's quite a lot of losses. But we're not that far adrift from the playoff pack, really. We're, 4 points? So a win against Stoke on the weekend, and we could be 1 point back in contention with those playoff places. I just think the first goal, the 25th minute goal, they fouled us 3 times. I watched the highlights back. You can literally see Ahmad on the floor, then Clark's on the floor, and then I think it's Roberts as well. I can't remember who the third person on the floor was, but the last one was the most blatant crunching tackle. It was a scissor tackle. It should have been a red card. If it was VAR, I think that there's a potential it's yellow to red on that incident. And the referee was just like, get up, fuck off. And there's 3 players on the floor, and there's a huge gap for Sunderland to cover. And they break through, they place the whistle, and they score the goal. And that for me is the exact reason I want VAR. So, yeah. Jacob, VAR, do you think it's a good thing? And Elliot's just popped in the chat with a VAR comment as well, so I'll read that in a sec. But what's your thoughts on VAR?
Well, it's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it, and it's quite. It can go against you, and it can go for you one week. You know, like one week it might be against you. Next, you know, it's never going to be spot on. But I do think it needs to be in the Championship, because then decisions will go our way more when we have bad referees, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So it's
it is shocking that it's not in Championship. It needs to come, but
you're reiterating what Elliot's saying here, by the way, in the chat. Do you not think VAR is making refs worse? If a ref used it in the Prem, they become reliant on it, and then when in the Championship, they're lost without it. If that referee was a Premier League referee at any stage, my God, that game would have been an absolute carnage. What do you call it? What was that game? Destruction Derby, where the cars used to crash into each other and stuff and blow up. It was horrific. Brad, I can see you've joined the call. You're on mute at the minute, so once you figure that out, welcome
Yes,
along.
good evening.
Good evening. I'm just going to turn your volume down a tad because you were very loud.
I think I'm quite loud, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome along, buddy. Thank you for coming along.
No problem.
We've got a bit of a plan of attack with this discussion. We're talking about the Coventry game first. We are talking about the Alex Niel press conferences and the Stoke game tomorrow. Then there's a little bit extra that we can talk about as well in the, how do I put it? the final, shall we say, where the red team won, shall we say, and we'll move on to that last. So yeah, I'm just saying how angry and pissed off I am at the ref. I'm actually not upset that we lost the game to Coventry. I'm just upset that the referee handled the game in the way he did, and it was so poorly managed from an officiating standpoint. I think that kind of game has potentially cost us the playoffs. Those 2-3 points that we could have gotten from that game, the 1 point or the 3 points, sorry, not 2-3 points. It's so blatant that referee was making mistakes. How do we overcome them going forward? And
very difficult.
Rosie's popped in there as well. Their goalkeeper should have been sent off for having his hands around Gelhardt's neck as well.
Yeah, I seen it once in the second half. He had one of their goalkeepers, I think it was Ben Wilson. He had his hands on Joe Gelhardt's throat.
Yep, and VAR would have picked that up. They would have been down to 10 men, and they would have had a replacement goalkeeper who wasn't really expecting to play. So there's another reason I think Sunderland could have won that game if VAR was in place. But
100%.
I genuinely can't blame the players on the pitch for Coventry's performance because the referee was allowing them to make those slide tackles. Either of you, do you want to chip in there?
So more so pretty much what you're saying, Amph, is you're angry at the way we lost, not at pretty much like the way we lost. It won't like because of us being shit. It were more so.
Don't get me wrong though. We did have a poor performance over the 90 minutes. Yeah, the second half, like the first half, we were in it. We were ready for it. We were fighting at it, and then just everything went against us, officiating wise, and I don't understand why. Shouldn't have been. Oh, and the fucking Diallo yellow card as well. What the fuck was that about?
I was really angry at that decision. I was very angry at that decision, to be honest with you.
What was it, 2-3 times he gets his leg hacked at by 2 different players, and he gets a yellow card for protesting about it or getting his leg held. What? Yeah, VAR is okay, but needs to be quicker, says Dale. Go on, mate. Yeah, jump in.
Well, for me, I thought that Ahmad Diallo, when he got thinking of his leg a few times, I thought that he had the right to do that, and obviously, I wouldn't have thought he would have got shown a yellow card just for doing that, and it was a bit of a ridiculous decision by the referee, against Gelhardt, when the referee had a hold of his throat. I thought that would have been a Stonewall penalty, or at least something like that would have been given, but nothing was given whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just an absolute piss take.
It is.
Sorry, their goalkeeper actually got a yellow card in the 86th minute for time wasting as well. That's funny. You know what? We'll talk. We'll report the ref. Well, I literally responded to the AFL's Twitter post at the end of the game and just went, "Is there a way to look into this ref for corruption?" That's all I've replied, and nobody's responded to it. So I would, if I was in the Sunderland camp with the contacts and the reporting, I would literally put in a flagged report against that referee's decisions. There's a lot of video footage of it. He stares at blatant fouls and just ignores them. I don't think he is a fit referee. If he was a Premier League referee, my days, the qualification is way too easy because that was not fair. The whole idea of a referee is to, one, make sure the rules are being looked after, but most importantly is to look after the welfare of the players on the pitch. So those dangerous tackles should have been stopped from minute one. Doesn't matter when that foul comes in. Doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes in. Doesn't matter if it's 99 minutes into it. The referee needs to protect the players. That's why if a fan runs on the pitch, that they get the security off it. If a massive fans run on the pitch, they will cancel the game. So, yeah, club should have reported him. But yes, we'll talk about the moment of brilliance, the Ahmad goal. What are your thoughts?
Thunder cunt goal, I'd call it.
What? Why? Why are you calling it that?
I don't know, as in like it was like a pretty banger goal. To be fair, I know we were losing, but it was a pretty decent goal. To be fair,
Yeah, it was ultimately a consolation goal, right? The fact that we broke their clean sheet record and didn't add to their tally, because Coventry are the team with the most clean sheets this season in the Championship, with 15, I believe. The fact that we didn't let them add that to 16 is a little mini victory I can take onto it. Dean saying it's a little bit too little, too late. What are you saying, Brad?
Yeah, because obviously I think when did he score? Was it 90 plus 4 minutes or something? Wasn't it?
It was in the 94th of 96 minutes, so there was still 2 more minutes of given play to go through because of the amount of subs we had and the second goal and the yellow cards for time wasting. So the referee did add enough time on for the game in the second half, I think. But yeah, 94th minute to have that moment. Too little, too late is a perfect summary, Dean. You agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Good. Rosie's popped in with a question as well about the administration of the club next season. Ahmad needs a rest as well. I mean, he didn't really play the entire game, to be honest. He had a very poor performance up until that goal. So I agree he does need a rest, but also so does Gelhart, so does Bath, so does Ballard. There's not enough rotation for Patterson, but Patterson doesn't run around that much. So yeah, like there's a lot of players that could be rotated around a bit, but we've got to trust Mowbray's picking the right player and the player's fit enough to play the full 90. He does come on. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the stadium doing season cards by phone next season? And for me, obviously I'm hundreds of miles away. It doesn't really impact me that much. I watch everything via SAFC. I support my club in the way I can. Traveling up that far is just unrealistic. So hence why we've got the Mackem channel and we do watch along live streams. I'm still supporting my club the way I can, and I'm helping others watch the game too. So it doesn't affect me, but I do have thoughts on it. But Jacob, I'm guessing you're in the same boat. You're not massively affected by the season card thing.
yeah, same thing.
So
I try and do similar to you, really.
Listen or watch to the games wherever possible.
Or watch things on Soccer Saturday, or before I came on here, I used to watch other Sunderland fans' streams,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, thank you. And Brad, it might affect you more than anybody else on this call. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, there's some good signs and some bad signs about this. The good signs are that if you have a digital season ticket,
Yep. Nobody can nick it.
No one can ticket one. You'll actually get faster entry into the stadium too. A lot faster entry as well. But the bad signs about it is What about if an elderly person hasn't got a phone? That's the problem about that.
So the technophobes, I'll class them as, so the elderly, the people who are not able to, kids, stuff like that, the people that don't have access to the phones, they still have a digital pass. They could print out a piece of paper with their barcode, with their QR code on. So it's not preventing them getting into the stadium. It's just making it so you don't have a physical card. You just have to have that QR code to get through the turnstiles. So if you want to print it off, you can print it off. It's not a complete disaster. It's not like you need a very specific mobile phone with a very specific token on it, and you scan your phone. You're scanning a QR code, which is static and is basically, I think it's a much better security thing, because you're not having people scanning the same barcodes going into multiple turnstiles. It's much more secure. The ID checks. The only thing I'm concerned about is if people do try to fake the system a bit and get through, like, because before you could use the same barcode on multiple turnstiles, you just couldn't use it on the same one because the system didn't talk that well. It would just check, validate, and then okay. If you scanned at the same time on two different turnstiles, you could get in. So it's completely got rid of that cyber security risk, which was there with the old system. So I think it's a good thing that the club are looking at other ticketing vendors. They're looking at digitization, which is ultimately going to save a lot of things. But the one thing I'd be pissed off the most about is I like a physical ticket. I like to say I've been to this game and here's my ticket. Here's my thing for my memory book. That's what they'd get rid of. So, yeah, it's a PR disaster. Not thinking of the older generation. I think they're not saying it's going to be purely digital either. They're just saying they'd prefer you to have it. So, yeah, it's not a mandated thing that you have to have a phone to attend the games. It's literally not that at all. I think that's what people are reading into it. Yeah. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Because it does affect you more than it does me, mate.
It doesn't actually affect me because obviously I've got a phone and I can get a season ticket digitally, obviously, so it won't affect me whatsoever.
It doesn't affect anybody who doesn't have a phone as well. That you don't need a phone to get into the stadium next season. It's just that's the preferred method. That's what they're going to default to. The thing that they're doing though is
Is it because of wasting paper and whatnot?
Paper's neither here nor there, mate. It's a minute expense. It's like just card, isn't it? But the costs behind it make more sense to go smart, because then there's no fraud happening and there's no people all hold on to 6 tickets for this group of people and hang them behind the counter or sort of what. There's none of that. It's basically you have these QR codes. That's what the 99% of people will be doing. There's still that option of printing out individual QR codes for a block of tickets. I don't know. Other clubs have used it. Other clubs have done it. We're quite late in the pack, so the fact that people are upset about it, it kind of, for me, it says that the area are a little bit naive or behind on the times for attending events, because you need digital tickets for pretty much everything in the UK now. London's a prime example with Oyster cards and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's a lot of smoke at the minute, and there will be a method for people that aren't able to access a phone to still get into the stadium. I don't think the club will want to have that PR nightmare that people have mentioned, but yeah. If you don't have a mobile, it's unlikely you have a printer, and it's unlikely that you have a computer as well, Dean.
Yeah.
So you'll go to the ticket office and ask for a ticket, and they can still print one out. It just means you're last in the queue. So if there's empty seats and you go to the ticket office, you'll still get a ticket. That's essentially all it's saying. So these elderly people or the kids kids still have season tickets, right? But not every kid has a mobile phone. So are we saying like you could scan a family in? You'd have to go into a specific area. Like, is that separating fans? I think there's a lot of things that we don't know about it as well.
Well, where we sit, we've got like a family zone area,
mhm.
so that could be ideal.
Yeah. Deal says, when I first went, it cost £1. It's much easier. 1969. Wow. Been a Sunderland fan for a while. You've actually seen the glory days of Sunderland. One Evil and Live then. Oh, Rita K Show, welcome along. Yeah, all right. I think we've talked. Don't worry about it. I think we have exhausted the previous game, the Coventry match. We've talked about the season card stuff now. Shall we move on to Alex Niel and the Potters coming to the Stadium Light tomorrow? Jacob, you still there, mate? We'll go with score predictions first, and then we'll talk about the Alex Niel situation, and then we'll work out where our conversation flows from there. So, score predictions, Jacob. What do you think?
3-1 Sunderland.
3-1 Sunderland. Okay. Goal scorers?
Ooh, bloody hell. Diallo, Pritchard, and maybe Roberts.
Maybe Roberts. Okay. And Brad?
I'm saying 2-1 to Sunderland, with Clark and Ahmad with the goals.
Okay. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Sunderland win, and I think it's going to be a Gelhardt brace with Pritchard and Roberts providing assists. That is a bit of a brave and a very detailed punt at it, but I think Gelhardt might actually start getting off the score sheet because the reason I'm saying that is because he's the only player in this starting 11 that we normally go through that Niel hasn't seen or touched or trained or talked to ever. So he's the wild horse. So I think he'll be our go-to man for the shots and the breaking through defences.
I can reduce here 6-0.
Keisha's 6-0. That would be hilarious.
Rosie 5-0.
Rosie's 5-0. Snake Alex Neil Stoke 0. Dean with a 2-0. The six goal scorers: Pritchard, Clark, Roberts, Amadiolo, and Clark with 2 more goals. Wow. So Clark hat trick. That would be nice. Don't get me wrong, but I think we have got the potential to smash this. Smash this Stoke side. They have had a bit of a roller coaster under Alex Neil. Let's not beat around the bush on that one. When they joined them, they were 19th, and look how high they've climbed since he joined. We were 12th when he left us. We've climbed a couple of places, so it's not like we're miles better off without him, but it's not like they're miles worse off either without him. And I think I've frozen. There you go. Liam K with a 2-1 or 2-0. So yeah, I think Gelhardt's our wild horse there, and I think we'll utilise him quite a bit in this match. Brad, Alex Neil returning to the Stadium of Light. Are you? Which band or camp of players fans are you in with that one?
To be honest, if Alex Neil returns to the Stadium Light, I'm not really bothered because it's irrelevant to what happens on the pitch. And I totally agree what Toby Mowbray was saying yesterday about Alex Neil. Because it says here, Toby Mowbray says Alex Neil returning to Stoke Sunderland this weekend with Stoke is irrelevant to anything that happens on the pitch. Neil was briefly loved by Sunderland support after a genuinely exciting 7-month spell that included winning a Wembley final and getting the Black Cats promoted from League One.
Yeah.
However, he walked out of the club in August to join Stoke before briefing the press he did it because he wasn't backed, and that created a lot of supporter animosity towards Niel.
The animosity was. I think it's self-inflicted. To be honest, when he says he's not backed, what does that mean? Because Tony Mowbray's been backed as much as Niel would have been, and look how much better off we've done with Mowbray over Niel. So yes, I do think that without Alex Niel, we would still be in League One. That when he came in, we needed rescuing, and he did that job really effectively. We put a lot of faith in him to do that, and we expected that faith to continue for his full contract, which would have been another 9 months at that point. So at the end of this season, in this summer, then we would have potentially looked at a new contract. But he left because it was a head coach position. He had little say on the players that we signed, which I think that's why he might be meaning by backing. But I think long term, it's better have unfolded the way it did than him sticking around, because I think if he stuck around, we would be in a much worse position in this league.
Yeah, 100%.
Acacia says, as Phil Jagielka was quite good or bad at us in Sheffield, I'm not looking forward to seeing Dwight Gale returning either. He's an ex-Mags player. So Dwight Gale for Stoke, I don't think is a massive threat. He might have been about 5-6 years ago, but not now. He's struggled to score this season.
For me, I think the biggest threat of that team is Lewis Baker.
That's a big shout.
Biggest threat.
That's a big
Biggest
shout.
threat is him.
Can you? You both said that they're going to score. Where they're getting their goal from?
A set piece, probably.
So you think it's our bad defending, not their quality?
But yeah, I mean, they're not too threatening a Stoke, but it won't, because we're not good. We've not been great at defending set pieces, to be fair, have we? So it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. But
well, set pieces has been our downfall for scoring goals. Defensive, like if we do set pieces score versus against, we definitely have a negative goal difference there. Most teams will be around the 1 mark, or if you're Burnley, it's like every 3 set pieces you score, you've conceded 1. So I think Burnley aside, the rest of the league is a little bit more balanced. What's happened to that? The Burnley have gone off my league table because they're already in the Premier League. That's Acacia says, I also absolutely love Grandad Mowbray. As he said to Nick Barnes yesterday, may the best team win after Nick Barnes had interviewed him. Well, if it's purely down to who has the best potential, the best players on paper, the team in form, even though we've lost, we're still on a better form than... We've lost the last 2 games, haven't we? But we're still on a better form than Stoke.
Yeah.
So
Grandad Mowbray, I like that. Grandad Mowbray.
He's not that old, you know.
He's only 59.
He could definitely be somebody's granddad, though. You can see that.
Yeah.
What I wonder, he had though in his press conference, did he have a Mars bar, Milky Way, jelly babies, randoms? What did he have?
I haven't seen it. By the sounds of it, Brad might have. Go on. Did he have any special snacks?
To be honest, I watched his press conference yesterday, and he never had nothing in his press conference yesterday. I think he's embarrassed now.
What with his?
He loves his Rebels and Jaffa cakes and all that.
Yeah, he loves his Rebels and Jaffa cakes and stuff.
But
I think his mum watches his press conference, and his dad, and his sons and his daughters watch it, and all of them thinks he's embarrassed.
I like how it's become a talking point. What is Mowbray eating?
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't go to Werther's Original, he will. If he gets Werther's Original, he will go to the Grandad, and that's his nickname. Therefore, yeah.
I'm using my headphones now, Amp. I think they're working. I've sorted it, I think.
You
Good.
know what Acacia says? He hasn't had anything because his kids here and get embarrassed. That's what Acacia just says. Exactly. For him
Yeah.
having tweets in the press conference.
Do you know what? It's his life. He can do what he wants. Let them be embarrassed.
It's more entertaining than a Phil Parkinson press conference, isn't it, or something like that? You know.
Oh, there's a good question to ask and open it away from just this week's conversation. Say since the year 2000, who is your top three managers or head coaches, depending on the title that we're using at that year? Who's our best three gaffers in any order? If you want, I can go first.
Sure.
So I'm going to say Roy Keane, Tony
Yeah.
Mowbray, Mick McCarthy.
I've got a few in mind, but it's just three.
It's just three.
Bollocks.
Statistically, yeah, go on then.
Even though I was still quite young to remember him, because my first memory was 2010, 2011. I would say Roy Keane, Mowbray. I wish I could do four, but I can't. Maybe it's between Sam Allardyce and Gus Poyet, actually.
You have to choose.
Piss sticks. I mean, Sam Allardyce, he did help us relegate Scum, but Poyet did get us to Wembley, so it's a bit.
Do you know who helped us to survive as well? Steve Bruce.
Yeah. Brucey, yeah. Broccoli face, or whatever we call him. Or
Yeah.
cabbage face.
So.
Yeah.
So who's your top three? Sorry.
So I'll go with Roy Keane, Mowbray, and do you know what? I'll go with Poyet. Poyet.
Okay. What about you, Brad? I'm guessing you've had a little bit of time to think about it now.
Yeah, I've had a lot of time. For me, I think Roy Keane for number one definitely, because obviously when he came in, we were bottom of the table and he climbed right up to, was it top of the league when we won against Luton in that final?
Oh yeah, and was that the season we finished on 100 points or something?
Yes, it was actually the season when we finished on 100 points. So him 100%. I'll actually say for this one, Alex Neil. I might get a lot of hate for this.
Okay, because of the promotion, I understand it.
The promotion, Wembley win.
I'm a snake.
You know what? Fuck it, Sam Allardyce.
Okay.
Big Sam.
Yeah, Big Sam.
You gotta love him. You gotta love Big Sam.
He loves his fish and chips, doesn't he?
See, Big Sam.
Oh yeah.
So for me, two of your choices are kind of weird, because I think both of them have had poor reputations on how they left the club. I know Sam did it for a much better job, which nobody can really argue about, going to England. But the bribery thing within 2 weeks after that.
DCFC, Di Canio. I forgot about Paulo Di Canio.
Paulo Di Canio, he's the love of my life. Paulo Di Canio, you can do something with his wife.
He doesn't like tomato ketchup, does Paulo Di Canio?
Oh, so Rosie's chipped in with Roy Keane, Tony Mowbray, and Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson's an interesting shout. I think he did a decent job for us. I think he stabilised us in in League One and got us towards the promotion. I think he screwed up February last year, though. That was his major downfall. And that's where Alex Neil comes into it.
He won us the Potter John's trophy, though, but yeah.
Yeah, he won us our first Wembley final in decades.
Yeah.
He broke the curse. There's a lot to be said about what Lee Johnson did to build us to the stage where Alex Neil brought us back to normality. But I'm still kind of curious about the Sam Allardyce one, because I think the moment he left us, that for me was the tipping point for us falling down the leagues.
Sam Allardyce leaving.
I think so. Name a good moment after that for the next 5 years, and I don't think you'll find one.
No, it's a shame.
To be honest,
if Allardyce stayed, who knows?
His replacement was dog shit. Look, I'm just going to load them up. Sunderland managers.
Dower
It
David.
was his replacement, David Moyes, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dower David Moyes.
Thought so.
Didn't we go down under Moyes as well?
Yeah,
We did, yeah. We went down to the Championship 16-17 season.
Yeah. And it's a shame because towards the end of our Premier League era, teams like Stoke, Bournemouth, Palace, Burnley, Swansea were overtaking us in the Prem, and that shouldn't be happening. You know, in my opinion. Michael Bowers touched on that. So them teams were finishing above us and overtaking us while we were just surviving.
Then again,
Exactly.
Simon Grayson came in, he done a bad job. Then Chris Coleman came in, and he got relegated. So
for me, the worst appointment we ever had as a manager in this entire period is Phil Parkinson. He had the vibe of a pushover. Don't get me wrong, it works with other clubs, but our players at that time, especially players like Catamol being like the captain for our team, Lee Catamol was essentially our manager, and was just there. So I think he was just the spearhead for our fans to blame. So
Should we do good managers? Should we do 3 worst managers?
Yeah, 3 worst managers.
That's easy. Grayson, Parkinson, Coleman. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Moyes, Grayson, and Parkinson.
That it's that 5-year spell, isn't it, where we chopped and changed our manager all the time.
I know Coleman weren't great, but I don't know. But he still had the passion though, and he wasn't great, but he was better than Grayson and Parkin was Coleman.
Yeah,
yeah. Interesting.
Rosie says 3 best players for Sunderland.
In the same year, so they had to play on the same team. If you ask me the question, who's our best 3 players this year? Are we counting loanees in that or not? I'm asking you too, because Rosie might be a couple. Yeah. If we're counting loanees,
we could count them. Yeah.
Okay, so Amad Diallo definitely up there. Patterson in goal, and it's a toss up for the 3rd place, but I'm going to edge it towards Clark over Roberts. So, yeah, Clark, Amad Diallo, and Patterson for me. Our current players, at least. Oh, before you jump in, Hull have taken a 2nd goal. They're 2-0 ahead against West Brom.
Yeah, 2-0 up against West Brom, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. That's a benefit of having a live stream. That helps us quite a bit, by the way. It gives us a little bit of safety. The lowest we could drop after tomorrow's results, if we do lose to Stoke, is down to 10th. So we're not going into the bottom half of the table anytime soon. So
I think we finished 10th come end of season. I think that's our final position, 10th.
Yeah,
we should be proud of ourselves for our first season back. We've done really well.
Well, I might do a video, because I've done a video at the start of the season where I said every team I think would finish. There's one major embarrassment in there where I said one team might get double relegated. That hasn't happened.
I bet that's Burnley, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's Norwich. It's Norwich. Yeah, I thought they'd crumble.
They were 21st in the table at one time, weren't they?
Yeah, they started the season really poorly, and it looked like I was going, oh yeah, I'm definitely right. But now they're 7th, so I'll just don't look embarrassed at all with that one.
I think Ipswich fans will be angry at you, because they were thinking, oh, I hope Amphy's right, and then
doubt it. I think like 80 people watched the video, mate, so I think I'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
So, who are your favourite 3 current players for the club, Brad?
Well, for me, I'll say Anthony Patterson. He's done absolutely outstanding this season. He's done an outstanding job for me. I'll say Jack Clark for 100%, and I'll say I'm going to say Ahmad as well. I'm going to say all 3.
You can't copy me. I'll put in a strike against you on your YouTube channel, mate. Okay. We've both got 3 players of the season there going for it. What about you, Jacob? What are you saying are your 3 best current players?
I'd say Patterson,
Caught.
Pritchard,
Oh, he
and
hasn't
Diab.
copied. 2 out of 3. Pritchard being the difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pritchard, Patterson.
It shows you how influential they are. Do you know what I find surprising? None of us have mentioned Ross Stewart. And I think if he was still
Yeah.
fit, we would all throw his name in the hat.
Of
I think
course.
Elise should be talked about as well, because I think Elise has done pretty decent this season as well.
Oh, no. No, mate. No. At least he's done all right this season, but he's not top 3 of our current squad. I'm sorry, but he's a good player. But
What about Trey Hume? Do you not think he's in there?
no, because his first 15 games of the season were quite middle of the road, and we were struggling early doors in the season with him in. But since he's come onto form, yeah, he's absolutely he's working his way up that list. But yeah, Rosie says, "On
DDSCFC says Barrow, Bath, and Robert.
centre backs." Do you know what? I give them a good shout as well. Fair player. Roberts is a good one. The thing that frustrates me with Clark and Roberts is the amount of time they hold on to the ball. There's a clear and obvious pass, but what they want to do is draw as many defenders in, and 4 out of 5 times they get tackled and give the ball away. But that one time that they break through everybody is just amazing. So the fact that they try it 5-6 times and still manage to get through is much better than not trying at all, I guess. So yeah, interesting. Rosie says Jack Clark, Patterson, and Stewart. So Stewart's name has been thrown into the hat. Oh, and Acacia's just been greedy here. She's put 4 names in the top 3. Jack Clark, Paddy Roberts, Troy Hume, and Stewart. So I'm going to scratch off the last one because you mentioned him last. And he's currently injured, so he can't really improve on his season. So you're having Clark, Roberts, and Hume for your 3, Acacia. I'm not having anybody cheating, getting 4. Not happening.
Well, tomorrow, there's been do you know the Sunderland predicted lineup? This is how it's going to start. Apparently, it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Standard for Sunderland. Yeah.
It's going to be Patterson and goal, Barrow, Bart, Hume, Alessi, Niel and Pritchard, Ahmad, Roberts, Clark, and Geldhart.
So the only difference is the left and right back then.
Yeah, the only difference between the left and right backs. Yeah, it's the only difference.
Liam's popped in the chat and says Bath is ex-Stoke. Well, didn't we get him directly from there?
Yes, I think you would want to get one back on them tomorrow, because you got them directly from Stoke.
I don't understand. Like, he came in and basically found his feet within a match. It didn't take him long to settle in at all. I think he had to kick Bailey right out of his position to get that starting main man for us at the back. But since he's been in, I don't think we've wanted to get him out of the starting 11 at all. Yeah. He's been that solid.
Rosie said I would have said Sims if he was still playing for Sunderland.
I wouldn't, to be honest. The thing that peed me off about his first couple of weeks is he twisted his ankle and he was out for 8 games.
Was that after the Reading game, wasn't it, Amp, when we beat Reading 3-0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did he went in that Reading game, we were 0-0. He had 2 shots and went, I'm not getting the ball in the back of the net today. I'm going to pretend I have an injury. He stubbed his toe and went, right, that's my perfect opportunity. I'm off. And as soon as he went off, we changed things up and we scored 3 goals.
Clark's goal is still that needs to get one of the best goals at season. End of the season that needs to be. I bet that will be up there, won't it? When that's
that's definitely team goal. It was team goal. It was goal of the month, but it's definitely just. It's just so weird when you get the goals of the year, goals of the season that early in the season, because
there's been loads for others for Sunderland, haven't there? As well as that one against Reading, So
there's been quite a few for Jack Clark as well. Did you not see the one where he scored against who was it? Was it Bristol City up here?
Yes. It was when we drew.
When he struck that shot from 25 yards out or something.
Thunderbolt goal.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the championship top scorers, right? So obviously, Stuart is still in our highest scorer, but we have not 6 players, 4 players, 3 players that are in this top 30 list, top 25 list actually. Ross Stewart on 10, Diallo on 8, and Clark on 7. The fact that we're not reliant on just our strikers, or weren't reliant on just our strikers to score, is huge. Like, not many teams have goal scorers that bang them in as many times as there. So Clark's on 9, sorry. Diallo's on 8. Sims was on 7. We've had 12 goal scorers this season for us.
Hmm.
The only person who hasn't scored, I think, is Patson. Every single
No, but
yeah.
Alex Bastard.
Oh yeah, I find that weird. Do you think Bass will be a player for Sunderland next season?
100% no for me.
No. I can see us getting rid of him and then just us getting another second-hand goalkeeper, whatever. I think he'll go back to League One.
He's more than likely to go back to League One or a team that's just coming up. The problem I have with that, though, is I think we need to recruit 2 goalkeepers next season because I think Patterson might be on the way out.
Yes, he's on his way up to a Premier League club, Wolves or Leicester, I think.
He's going to be sold on for big money, isn't he? That's our.
Yeah.
I think.
If
But
ever
the
it
thing
goes
is,
down...
Sorry?
go on.
Oh no, go on, Bradley. Sorry, man.
Alright, no worries. Well, Patterson, when he goes, do you not think we should cash in on Daniel Iverson from Leicester?
How old is he?
Let's have a look. 2 seconds. I don't know how old he is, but let's have a look.
The reason I'm going to say no, just my gut feeling from it. I haven't watched a lot of his games, but Leicester have struggled massively, especially with stopping shots. I know it's they're a Premier League club and they're coming against the likes of Haaland and Salah and stuff like that, but I wouldn't want a Premier League reject keeper. I'd much rather have somebody who's League One, League Two, literally like the best quality of that league, and pay about 500 grand for them rather than 10 million price tag that Rosie says, or a 3 million price tag for a Premier League name when you can get somebody who's on the way up rather than.
He's 26-year-old, this Daniel Iverson, and he's had 47 spells at Preston on loan, but he was at loan last season as well. There, he's had 23. So
did you just say 47 spells?
Yeah, 47.
He's been at Preston 47 different times, or he's played in 47 games.
Sorry, he's played in 47 different games. I'm not
right. Okay.
Sorry.
I thought you meant he's went out to this one team 47 times. At that rate, mate, just fucking sign him. Jesus Christ. He's been out on loan more than fucking Peter Crouch has changed his club.
I think he's been there more times than David James has changed his hairstyle when he was a goalkeeper. So he used to have different hairstyles. Honestly.
That's a bit of a throwback and a bit left wing. Left field, not left wing. Jesus. Right. So we've done top three. Should we wrap up? We've got about 10 minutes left of the stream before we start to finalise it. Shall we just all sing "Glory, Glory, Man United" for a couple of minutes and be very, very happy that the Mags lost 2-0 in the final and they didn't even look like they were in with a shout.
Why not?
I mean, we can't play the music of it, can we? Because we'll get bloody copyrighted. So,
yeah. Did you manage to watch any of the game? Because I was basically doing house chores and listening to it on BBC coverage of whatever audio wise. I didn't actually see the goals until I watched the highlights. But
yeah, I watched it.
Watching it live, did you ever get the perception that they were going to score anything? Because the only kind of I'm just finish off the question. The only kind of threat that I think Newcastle had on that game was through Bruno.
Yeah, it was.
We don't talk about Bruno. No.
Also, don't talk about Bruno. No.
Bradley gets it.
But yeah, I think did you see any like threats beyond Bruno? Any kind of chances for Newcastle to get anything from that match?
To be honest, I didn't know.
No.
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 Be careful,
Well,
Brad is an ex-mag. Oh, you're not, are you?
Yeah, I am, to be honest with you.
Oh my god. Ew.
But
Ew. Thanks, Liam.
Fancy mentioning that, Liam.
I mean, it's like going from wiping your ass with sandpaper to using a bidet. I guess you've picked a better team.
Yeah, of course.
You got with a better choice.
I've supported this team for 9 years, so.
That feels weird to me.
How can you change from being a Newcastle fan to Sunderland or something? It's I don't get that.
Was 9 years ago. Was that the season that Newcastle got relegated?
No, wasn't the season when Newcastle got relegated. It was about 6 or 7. Wasn't 9. That would have been 2016, 17.
They got relegated. They got relegated twice.
They got 16, 17 with Rafa Benitez from the Championship when we went down.
9 years ago was 2014, mate. So they were in the Championship that season.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they were in the Prem in 2014. I swear they were in the Prem.
Yeah, I thought they were as well.
They were yo-yoing up and down around that period, weren't they?
Yeah, Newcastle were in the Prem at 2014 because we won the 1-0 at their ground.
Was that the start of the 6 in a row?
Yeah, that was the start of the 6 in a row.
Okay. Was it that start of the 6 in a row that made you convert then? I've never ever even remotely considered supporting Newcastle. I just couldn't.
No, you can get fucked in the bum if you think I'm supporting Newcastle. Fuck off.
Literally, I started supporting football in like 2008, 2009. And I supported Newcastle when I was only about 4 or 5 years old or something like that. And I didn't even understand what football was at the time.
It was just the more popular. Yeah, okay. So it was just more popular with the kids around you that you just tagged along with that.
Most of the people from my school, most of the people from my primary school were Newcastle fans. But I moved into sort of like a secondary school, and often the teacher supported Sunderland, so I went with Sunderland for my gut instinct, so I went with them. And I've been a Sunderland supporter ever since.
Okay, so you didn't make that conscious decision to switch from Sunderland to Newcastle when you were an adult. It was still a childhood decision. Okay, that for me is that for me is okay. I don't mind if somebody goes from Liverpool to Everton when they're in school. It's when they're out of school and they've been to games, they've been brought up in that culture and then made that decision. So,
is your family Newcastle, Bradley, or were they Sunderland? Like.
What, the secondary school
your family,
or the primary school?
Your family.
Oh, family, sorry. My mum's a Newcastle supporter and a Sunderland supporter. I don't know how she can be too, but hey, and my dad supports Arsenal because he's from London. So.
Nah, fair enough. Arsenal's all right. I mean,
I'm sorry, but your mother's just confused me. That's just not allowed to happen.
But she might have had too much to drink. Bloody hell.
Possibly, yeah.
I'd rather tie-dye my curtains than support the Mags. Go on, Ruth.
I think I'd rather stick in my hands and clap than support Newcastle, man. Bloody hell.
Do you know? Do you know what? Northeast teams, I'm more than happy to support any kind of infrastructure and upgrading programs that happen in the Northeast, even in Newcastle.
What about Hartlepool, Armford?
Anywhere in the Northeast. Anywhere in the Northeast, I'm happy for the development of the sport in the area because ultimately that means that there's more interest, more eyes, more money, more growth, and more talent in the Northeast. and we show a really good light on how good our football is and why we are or have been champions and the best in the league. It's been a long time since that's happened, and I'd like to see that happen again in my lifetime. But the one thing I can never support is Newcastle winning a trophy or winning a title.
I don't really like Gateshead, to be honest. I know they're small, but
no, Gateshead are basically Newcastle's C team. Like, don't get they're literally just playing white with a black trim. They're trying to be Newcastle. Just trying to be the new Newcastle for the hipsters.
would Gateshead and Newcastle be a big derby? To be fair, if they played each other, or would they not be bothered? Or would they be just friendly to each other?
Say that again.
If Gateshead and Newcastle played each other like in a cup,
yeah.
Do you think like there'd be any fighting involved, or do you think it'd be just...
I think it would be respectful. It's kind of like when Durham plays Sunderland. Like, yeah, the teams are on the way, they're in the same area, but there's a bit of respect there because at least you're not Sunderland, at least you're not Newcastle. There's that vibe to it.
Wouldn't it be like Sunderland versus Darlington, or Sunderland versus Hartlepool, something like that? Really?
So Liam chips in and says, "I wouldn't dare support the Smoggies either." So I'm going to be really controversial here, and I've got a mini soft spot for Middlesbrough because of two people that have gone from Sunderland to Middlesbrough, and I like them as players. Julio Walker. No, fuck Paddy McNair, mate. Julio Walker, and Duncan Watmore. Both those two players have bleed northeast, and that I can get on board with. So the fact that they went from one red and white club to another red and white club in the northeast, I can be on board with that. And Liam's chipped in and says, I'm also a South Shields fan, and I know exactly why you're a South Shields fan, and it's something to do with KP roasted peanuts.
Oh my god.
Good old Kevin Phillips. Yeah. Super Kev.
Super Kevin Phillips.
What a perfect way to wrap it up. Is there anything you just want to jump in and shout out before we wrap up the stream?
Yeah, just to basically plug my channel as well as your channel.
Sure, go for it, buddy. When are you next live, and how can people find you?
I'm next live on tomorrow night, to be fair, about 10:15. After the Sunderland v Stoke game, so stick around for that. It'll be a review of the Stoke game, and after that, I'm live with actually Anthony Mackem on Tuesday evening.
For the Smoggy game.
7 p.m. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You're live from Gateshead College, or?
Yes, I'm live from there on Tuesday evening. Yeah. So
Perfect.
now I'm on 233 subs. We've got 67 away to get to 300. Can you all please like and subscribe to the channel if possible, please? And Anth is 113 away from 1k. So all you've got to do is subscribe to both channels, and that'll be appreciated from me. Thank you.
Doesn't cost a penny, does it? Doesn't cost a penny.
Oh, don't start. I do not want that to be a catchphrase on this channel. No, thank you.
What about the Preston manager?
Fuck off with the Preston manager, mate. Fucking day. I'm going to mute you in a minute. Anyways, my goal on all these streams is to hit 10 likes. We've smashed that already. So thank you, everybody who's tuned in at any point. Appreciate that. And yeah, I'm next live tomorrow with the watch along for that Stoke game. Keep an eye out on this channel. Hit subscribe if you like it. If you listen back on the podcasts for the Mackem Football Show, by the way, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, all of the good podcasting services. So if you want to listen to this and not watch my ugly mug, feel free to do that and catch up on that whenever you like. So thank you very much. Catch you next time. Well, lads. See you later.
Away the lads. FTM.